and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan, and today I have built a wildcard team with Salah in it. That was a challenge, believe me guys. Salah is an absolute budget killer, so this video is going to be great whether you're wildcarding or looking to build a team that involves Salah and how you may structure that team and how you can still build a decent team with him in. Hopefully this is going to be really helpful, and if it is, please do drop a like, do subscribe if you're new around here and you want every single day FPL content. But let's have a look at this team, guys. Alright, so we have gone slightly over budget on this bad boy. We're at 100.1 million, and I think most of you guys will be able to afford that, but just to be aware, you may have to make some cuts somewhere if you are operating on a slightly slimmer budget. But actually, I think most of you guys are probably around the 100 to 101 million budget at the moment. So let's get started, guys. We are going to go cheap in goal with Areola. He plays against Sheffield United at home next. What a fixture that is going to be for him. So a really, really decent pick straight off the bat. You know, having that 4.1 million playing goalkeeper is going to be super helpful when trying to cut some corners and try and get some cheap players in your team in order to facilitate a player like Mo Salah. So Areola makes the cut, the West Ham goalkeeper. He actually rotates fairly well with our sub goalkeeper, who we are going to talk about in a few minutes time. Let's go into defense next though, guys, and we have got Botman as our first defender. No doubt about that one. A decent result for him in game week 6, and I think moving forward we're going to be wanting to have a few Newcastle defenders in our team. So that's exactly what we're going to do, starting off with Botman in this one. Burnley up next, then West Ham and Crystal Palace. These are some decent fixtures, you know. So for now, I think going for a double up on the Newcastle defense is going to be great. So I'm also going to put Dan Burn in here, just because he's really cheap, really, at 4.5 million. I think if you have the budget, you maybe go for Fabian Schär. And I do like the idea of maybe moving one of the Newcastle defenders, and that will probably be, in this team, it will be Burn, moving that defender on in a few weeks' time to go back in on Pervis Estupiñán, who doesn't make the cut in this team. But Pervis Estupiñán has some really difficult fixtures over the next 3. Aston Villa, Liverpool and Man City, I believe it is. So you do maybe want to have the Brighton guys back at some point, but right now, maybe just going for a Burn or a Fabian Schär, who has some really nice placeholder fixtures over the next 3. That's going to work out really well, and then you can swap back in a few weeks. But I'll show you my kind of transfer plans for this team in later on in the video, guys. So yeah, we're going to finish off this defense with Kabore, Everton and Burnley, double game week. This is a week where you want to be playing Kabore, really. He's looked really good as well, really creative, getting an assist last game week, which was really nice. And maybe he can get a little bit more from that right-hand side of the Luton defence in this double game week. Everton and Burnley, 2 really nice fixtures. You're not typically going to play Kabore, but in a double game week, even if he can't get clean sheets, you know, we're still looking at hopefully 3 or 4 points, which is not so bad, really, compared to what a lot of the defenders have been scoring recently. So even worst case scenario, you know, he's not going to score less than 3 or 4 points, is he really? So yeah, I do think he is going to be a decent pick. Best case scenario, we get something from him, you know, maybe an 8-pointer. That would be really nice if we could see something similar to that. And I definitely think it's possible. You're playing the odds when you've got that double game. But Kabore is going to go straight back onto the bench from game weeks kind of 8 onwards, definitely. Let's move into midfield. Of course, we have got Mo Salah. He is the whole reason why we're making this wildcard team, to try and get Mo Salah in. And yes, there has been some sacrifices in this team in order to get him in, but he has been a player in form, returning every single game. Not doing amazingly on the open play goals, of course, but you know, he's scoring penalties, and that's amazing. You know, penalties count the same amount of points as anything else. So it's still really nice to have a penalty taker or 2 in your FPL team, and you can get those nice jammy points. We saw that with Saka this week, for example. Nice jammy penalty really does make an FPL score look really nice, doesn't it? And Salah's creativity has been brilliant this season as well. He's doing that really nicely in that role. So yeah, really nice creativity on the counter attack. He's still lethal, and he's on penalties. So is he worth 12.5 million? Is it worth the sacrifices you have to make elsewhere in your team? That is going to be up for debate, but I think you can build a decent team around him, to be fair. But yeah, he does just kind of lock you out of certain players. Like, for example, you already can see the defense guys. You're probably saying, where is Trippier? Where is Trippier? It is so hard to build a team with both Salah and Trippier in, particularly if you want these other midfielders that I do think are pretty much essential as well. So Son up next. I can't see myself making an FPL team without Son in it. Going up against Liverpool on the counter-attack against their high line, and then Luton and Fulham back-to-back fixtures. It's got to be done. A brace in game week 6, a hat-trick a few games before that. That means he's had 5 goals in 3 games. That is pretty impressive stuff from Heung-min Son. He's a man in form. He seems to be continuing to play in that central striker role. Definitely a player I wouldn't want to miss out on. And I think that is going to be the sticking point for a lot of people when they're trying to build a Salah team or a Salah wildcard. Son is going to be one of the very first players that is sacrificed. Fair enough, sacrificed the Man United midfielders, but I just don't think you can sacrifice Son at this point. He is just in too good form to miss out on. Saka is going to be the player I put in next. Another player who I think is basically essential, at least for this Bournemouth game. I understand after that he has Man City and Chelsea, not such easy fixtures, but the fixtures do get good again for Arsenal after that. And with Saka's insanely high ownership, 60-70% owned in your mini leagues, he's probably even more than that. At the top of your mini leagues, Saka is probably like 80 or 90% owned, isn't he? So he's definitely a player that you're going to want to have that cover for. So he is going to stay in the team. Another player on penalties, which is really useful, and a decent amount of creativity there, and taking a lot of shots and getting involved generally in the Arsenal attack. And against this Bournemouth side, you do fancy Arsenal to win, and Saka maybe kind of an outside shout for a differential captain, maybe not. We're probably just going to captain Erling Haaland, aren't we? Madison is going to be the next player. Yes, doubling up on the Spurs midfield here. I just really like Madison as a FPL asset. On set pieces, super creative, taking a decent amount of shots as well. There's just so much you get out of Madison. So another player who is, I know, quite expensive. And when we've got Salah, Son, Saka, Madison, it's an expensive midfield. It really is. But it's got to be done. I don't think you can sacrifice Madison. I think he has to go in the team. But I have to admit, if I had to sacrifice one of Son, Saka and Madison would possibly be the one to go, but I still wouldn't be totally happy with doing that. And we're going to finish off the midfield with Diaby at 6.6 million. I really like his fixtures going forward. I think Aston Villa's fixtures from here on actually look really positive, really nice. Diaby's kind of playing a little bit out of position as a pretty attacking player, pretty much playing as a forward, isn't he? Despite the fact that he's listed as a midfielder. He's been doing really well so far, in really good form, and yeah, like I say, the fixtures are really good. Pretty cheap at 6.6 million as well. You could maybe, if you can afford to go for Mbumo instead, then that's maybe going to be an option for you as well, moving Diaby up to Mbumo. But again, another player who is just a little bit too expensive. And, I feel like if we cut our budget a little bit by dropping an Mbumo down to a Diaby, then suddenly, we've got a little bit more money to be playing around with, and we can afford to actually do it. Unless, of course, you've got loads of money, in which case maybe you just go for Mbumo and Trippier and everyone else. But yeah, really difficult to do that, isn't it? But yeah, Diaby, I think I actually slightly prefer him to Mbumo in this upcoming run of fixtures. So that's going to be interesting to see the battle between Diaby and Mbumo. They just look like the best, former 6.5 million midfielders going forward. But yeah, I think maybe Diaby just edges it, particularly when you take his price into consideration. Moving up front, we have got Erling Haaland, of course. I mean, if we could sacrifice him, then that would be a lot easier to build this team, wouldn't it? But we are not going to do that, are we? Because Erling Haaland is our best player, captain every game week, and an absolutely wonderful FPL asset. So, yeah, he is going to make the cut. He is going to make the team. So, for sure, we're going to have Haaland in this team. Wolves next, which is, a fairly decent fixture these days, isn't it? And you're probably going to be wanting to be captaining him as well. And we're going to finish off the starting 11 with Morris. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, you should go for Alvarez here instead. Alvarez is 1.5 million more than Morris, so it's really kind of difficult to get Alvarez in. I don't think it's going to be possible for most people unless you sacrifice Madison. You're basically got a decision to make. Are you going to go for maybe Mbumo and Alvarez, or Madison and Morris? Now, in the short term, in the next 3 game weeks, I think the Madison and Morris combo get more points. But I definitely do understand that maybe after that, you might want to make some switches, and we will have a look at some potential switches you guys can make as well. But Morris with the double game week, Burnley and Everton on penalties as well, so you never know when you're going to get that nice bit of penalty luck in there. And yeah, not nailed on for 90 minutes every game for Luton, which is good. Yeah, he's just their primary attacking threat, so it's going to be a decent opportunity to take a punt on someone like Morris in a double game week. But he's definitely not a long-term solution, and despite the fact you're wildcarding him in, you are probably going to have to use your transfers to get him back out again at some point, and you're probably going to have to free up some budget elsewhere as well in order to do that, because there's not too many options in and around Morris's points. Right, with the first 11 out of the way, let's bring up the bench. We've gone for Turner here. So yes, Turner, 4 million. I think he is going to continue to hold his place. He's been playing really well, hasn't he, Turner? So yeah, impressed by him. And yeah, I feel like he is going to continue to get opportunities. And at 4 million, you can't really go too wrong. Another way of really, going for this 4 million, 4.1 million goalkeeper combination. Both of them are they're starting for their teams at the moment. So you've got 2 starting goalkeepers for really, really cheap, and they both play for fairly decent teams. I feel like West Ham are a decent team, and I feel like Nottingham Forest as well are definitely a respectable team these days. They're not as bad as maybe a lot of us thought they were going to be. We've got a really strong defence in terms of defence bench here, I guess, in terms of Cash and Udogie. So both of them are going to be on the bench this game week, but they're probably going to, replace Kabore, and you can have a bit of a rotation going forward, which again I will show you shortly. And then finally we've got Osula here, who is a 4.4 million forward, so super cheap. Just trying to cut that budget, slim it down as much as possible so we can afford it. In this team, you would, of course, put the captain's armband on Erling Holland. And let's put the vice-captain on Saka as well. And with that said, I want to have a look at this team and how you might use it, what kind of potential changes you can make, what rotations would you do going forward, and what transfers would you make as well. So, yeah, let's have a look at that next. Okay, so we are back on the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool, guys. And if you want to check this out for free, there is a link at the top of the description for you guys to go and check this tool out. But I'm just going to use it today to kind of just help plan my team a little bit, plan moving this team forward into the future. So like I said, there's a potential couple of changes you can make here. So we could switch out Madison here for Mbumo, and that does allow you to get rid of Morris there and replace him with Alvarez, if that's kind of the route you wanted to go. So that is definitely an option there, but we are, for now, for the sake of this team, we're gonna stick with what we got, because I want to show you what kind of transfer moves I would be looking to make moving forward. And of course, guys, this is actually a fairly highly rated team as well. If we just optimize it. You can see, I'm going to have to do a quick one of these. That's absolutely fine. Find the palm trees. A little game for us today. Yeah, it's decent. Team rating of 96%. I think we could probably boost that up even more when we start optimizing it for future game weeks as well. Yeah, but it just depends on what you can kind of afford here. Like Burn, like I said, you could upgrade him. You're probably not going to be able to get Trippier into this team, but maybe if you sacrifice Madison, that would maybe allow you to upgrade Burn all the way up to Trippier, but maybe not quite. Yeah, you're going to have a decent amount of money in the bank in order to do that, unfortunately. So, yeah, let's continue to move forward with this team. If we go to Game Week 8 and optimize it, you are going to see that this week we will play Cash and Udogie. So these would be the players who would come in. Kabore would go to the bench, as would Burn, and you've got nice Cash against Wolves there. You've got that attacking threat, and you've got Udogie now for his really nice fixtures against Luton and Fulham. By this point, you're probably not going to need to make any transfers. I'm hoping that with this kind of wild card, you're safe for at least 7 and 8 with those good players in good fixtures pretty much throughout. The one player you might think about sacrificing is maybe Saka, but I'm not entirely sure about that one, to be honest. Moving to Game Week 9, this is when you probably would make your first transfer of the new team, I guess. And there's different ways you can go here. Maybe Saka is a guy to sacrifice here again, but I would be looking to get rid of Morris as soon as possible. So could you potentially do a Saka out and a Morris out, and then replace Morris with someone a little bit different there? That's definitely a potential that you could go for. Or you can just look at some similar priced forwards there. So maybe if we just go to 6 million and below, maybe you'll be able to afford that. And maybe we've got the likes of Edouard there. He plays against Newcastle, that fixture, which is not amazing. You've got Wissa there. So with not having Mbumo, that's definitely going to be an option. Will Ferguson come good by then? Not entirely sure. But for the sake of this video, let's move to Wissa if you have that money on in the bank for you there, and you can do that if you are unable to free up budget elsewhere in the team. Then in Game Week 10, at this point, we're going to have to make some more changes. And I feel at this point, you can probably sacrifice one of your Spurs midfielders. You're going to have 2 transfers by this point if you follow this transfer kind of strategy. Of course, the transfer strategies always go out the window, but it's nice to have a rough plan, isn't it? So Madison could very easily be downgraded. Is this a point where you would like to go for an Mbumo back in your team? Someone like that could work. Is there any other players you would quite like to have? Maybe going back in on Man City midfielders. We've got the Liverpool guys, of course, there. Luis Diaz is looking like he's going to be a regular starter. But let's go for Mbumo, because I feel like he is, if we go on full game week prediction, we're going to see Mbumo right at the top here. So let's stick him in the team. And at this point, we would be looking to go back in on some Brighton as well. So Mitoma is also going to be an option at this point. He plays Fulham in Game Week 10. So that's definitely an option. You can go for Mbumo or Fulham for for that Fulham game. So actually, yeah, to be fair, maybe I would go for that instead. I guess we'll see. And Burn, at this point, you are going to want to upgrade him. So we freed up some budget. We can go Burn to Estupinian. And in the future, that actually frees you up to kind of maybe switch Wissa to someone else as well if you wanted to. So if we optimize this again now, we're going to see Estupinian going into that team. And you're going to be playing at this point Estupinian pretty much every single game and then rotating your other players. So going to game week 11, I'm going to optimize it again. It looks like predicted points have both Udogie and Botman at 3.5 each, but I feel like I would prefer to go for Udogie against Chelsea rather than Botman against Arsenal. You know, we've seen that Chelsea are struggling to score at the moment, so you've got a really nice defence here. We've got Stupinian, Cash and Udogie, and this is the game week. Possibly you could even consider captaining Salah against Luton Town, but Holland does have Bournemouth in that game week, so again it's going to be very tough to go against the Erling Haaland captaincy, even in a week where Salah plays Luton Town, which kind of just says it all about this current state of FPL, I guess. But yeah, those are some kind of potential moves you can make. I certainly like going in game week 10, bringing in a Stupinian at that point, bringing back in the Brighton players, which is one of the reasons, to be fair, where I think I do prefer a game week 10 wild card if possible, unless your team is in, you know, absolute tatters, in which case, fair enough, you might actually need to wild card now. But if you can hold off until game week 10, I think there is some advantages to doing that, and you get to go in on those Brighton players then, because you probably wouldn't go for too many of them now if you're wildcarding, like, literally now. So, yeah, those are some different ideas for what you could potentially do with a wildcard like this moving forward and some potential changes you can make. Don't forget, if you want to check out this tool, there is a link for you to access it for free at the top of the video description. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like. Looking forward to getting stuck in with the Game Week 7 content, the double Game Week 7 content, should I say. First double game week of the season, and it's Luton Town and Burnley doubling. But hey, we'll take what we can get at this stage, won't we? Guys, thanks so much for watching. Once again, I'm going to go now, but I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.